Sheilas and fellas, we are here today to answer the age-old question, are Corsair pre-built gaming PCs a scam? For all my life, I associated them with crazy high prices just because they have the brand Corsair slapped on them. And when we browsed their online website, it didn't help their cause. I mean, look at this, an RTX 5080 with 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, and a Ryzen 7 9850X3D for 4,500 American rock flag and eagle dollars. You've got to be having a laugh, Corsair. Micro Center has the same PC but with 64 gigabytes of RAM and an X870E motherboard for $1,500 cheaper. Plus, you have the option to buy it open box from them for $2,699. So given that we have to buy these PCs with our own money and then resell them after so that Hank doesn't become homeless, it looks like our dream of reviewing a Corsair gaming rig was over before it started, right? Well, not quite, mate, because Hank stumbled upon a potential gold mine. Corsair Refurbished PCs. An entire section on their website dedicated to open box and refurbished gaming PCs, and now these prices are starting to make more sense. Look at this baby right here, an RTX 5080 with a 99X3D for 2,600 American turkey breasts. Take my money, Corsair. The only problem is these refurbished PCs come in and out of stock very fast, and right now this one isn't available. So we went browsing every refurbished PC possible, and Hank clicked notify me when in stock on two insane PCs in particular. The first was this insane RTX 5090 gaming PC with a Ryzen 9 9950X3D, 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and an astounding 6 terabytes of storage for $5,099. And guess what, mate? It finally came in stock, but actually for 4,999 United States dollars, so we ordered it immediately, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The box that you see right now next to Hank is not the PC. They randomly cancelled on me for no reason. Thanks, Corsair, you dirty dogs. Way to ruin Hank's dream. However, Hank's saying is that if you aim for the stars and fail, you'll likely fall into a cloud and behold. This Corsair box sandwiched in the middle of Hank and Frank actually contains the second best PC on their website. Their RTX 5090 Vengeance A5100 gaming PC with the 9950X3D, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and only 4 terabytes of storage for what ended up being 4,599 American dollars and 99 United States cents. To put that into perspective, Micro Center's flagship PowerSpec G914 gaming PC, which we reviewed in a previous video, has similar specs, but only 2 terabytes of storage, and that thing costs $5,400 brand new, with the cheapest open box deal I've seen for that PC getting to $4,800. So we got one hell of a deal here with this Corsair PC. So the time for yapping is over. It's time to turn Hank's dreams into a reality. Are you excited, mate? Let's go! Let's go indeed, and as we turn the box over and rip it off, we are left with a ton of packaging material, so given we spent Hank's life savings on this thing, it should be nice and secure. Now we slowly fade to black and we reveal the monolithic $4,600 box, and it is tiny, mate. It is only slightly taller than our bonsai tree, so for once, if this has a micro ATX motherboard in it, I am not going to cry like a little girl because it actually makes sense. And finally, as we rip the packaging foam out of this thing, OMG, ladies and gentlemen, you have got to be kidding me, mate. Is that a Founders Edition RTX 5090? Sweet merciful Zeus, we have hit the jackpot. The cheapest one of these we can find right now on eBay is currently bidding for $4,250 with 7 hours to go, while other people have their Jensen Huang signed editions for $8,000, so we could probably just sell this thing off and make our money back entirely with the rest of the PC ready to go. This may actually be the happiest day of my life, but we'll get to figuring out how to make our money back on this thing later. Hank, give me 2 firm handshakes so we can turn this masterpiece on and judge its aesthetics. And would you look at that, for once we aren't being blasted by rainbow ARGB puke, we are instead being hit by some weird bluish purple color, and I think it looks absolutely stunning, mate. I am in love. Now I can see why Corsair went with the 2-slot Founders Edition card, because this PC case is literally the size of Hank, and he is a tiny boy. But I think this is actually a great thing, because despite it being basically one of the most powerful consumer PCs money can buy, it takes up so little room on your desk and still has 9 ARGB fans stuffed inside of it. Now, even though this thing is a fish tank design with glass on the front and side, it brings a ton of air in through the back as the entire panel is made out of mesh. It also has this nice brushed metal finished panel at the front and on the top that feels very premium. The AIO also has a very nice looking design with the Corsair logo lighting up in the middle and a very bright ARGB ring surrounding it. And what do we have here? Is that Corsair Dominator Platinum RAM? Oh my God, mate. I'm going to have to change my pants in a second. This PC is incredible for $4,500. Honestly, looking at the pictures online, I thought this PC case was going to be pretty meh. But in person, it's a great looking PC, but let me know down in the comments if you like it or if we just have terrible taste in PC cases. So after Hank gave the aesthetics a 9.5 out of 10, it's time to tip this thing on its side and rip out the internal components, starting with our Founders Edition RTX 5090. And isn't she a beauty? I have to give credit to NVIDIA for being able to put so much juice into a 2-slot graphics card. I love the sleek gunmetal grey style look with the big black fans, and the cherry on top is of course the GeForce RTX logo lighting up this nice white ARGB color when it's turned on. Here it is next to a chonkier 3-slot RTX 5090 from a HP Omen, and while it being much smaller is great when it comes to fitting it into any case you could possibly imagine, unfortunately the cooling just isn't as good. When we run it under 100% load for 30 minutes in Furmark, it reaches a maximum of 78 degrees. Meanwhile, when we test the big chungus HP Omen card, it tops out at a sexy time number of 69. Very nice. But despite it being a tad bit hotter, it is still completely fine, and these Founders Edition cards are very rare now, so cherish it with your life if you're lucky to stumble across one like us. Moving down to the M.2, and we aren't just blessed with one 2TB drive, mate. Oh no, 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 no. We have 2 total 2TB drives, giving us a combined 4 terabytes. Corsair was even kind enough to bless us with the top one being a Gen 5 drive, mate. We truly hit the jackpot with this PC, especially with the cheapest 2TB drives costing upwards of $250 these days brand new on Amazon, and the Gen 5 ones are even more expensive. And speaking of hitting the jackpot, we scoped this baby out during the aesthetics breakdown, and for the first time ever in a pre-build, we have been blessed with the Corsair Dominator titanium sticks, 2 32GB sticks clocked at 6,400 mega transfers per second and a CL of 32. These things are faster than Usain Bolt, and the only equivalent we could find was sold out on Micro Center's website and cost 1,185 United States bacon and cream cheese bagels. I mean, between this, the RAM, and the GPU alone, we are at a theoretical $6,000 in value. What the hell, LeBron James, is going on? Corsair Refurbished may be the new meta when it comes to getting PC components. Gee whiz. Now we move up to the AIO, and it's this IQ Link Titan with a good looking pump head and a ton of ARGB, but can it tame the beast that layeth underneath? Yes, we are talking about AMD's second best consumer CPU on the market, the Ryzen 9 9950 X3D, only recently dethroned by the 9950 X3D2. It has 16 cores and 32 threads of raw horsepower, so it is unbeatable when it comes to productivity. And its 128 megabytes of X3D L3 cache allows it to destroy every game in its path. Now, this is not the easiest CPU to cool, but it appears we have been blessed by this IQ Link Titan because it was able to hold it well under 80 degrees when we ran it under 100% load in Furmark, so this PC just keeps on giving, mate. So now that the CPU is completely naked, we can finally see what the motherboard is, and given this is a micro ATX case and there are no X870E micro ATX boards, the B850M is the only way to go here, and they have provided us with the Gigabyte B850M Gaming X Wi-Fi 6E. Definitely not a top tier board, but given it had to be micro ATX, it's fine, I guess. It only comes with 2 M.2 slots, but the top one is PCIe 5 for our Gen 5 drive, so that's good at least. It also supports PCIe 5 in the top PCIe slot for the 50 series GPU. The VRMs are also adequate for cooling the 9950 X3D, but if I'm going to be be honest, the rear I/O is pretty average to say the least. So I don't know, let me know if there are any better B850M motherboards it could have been paired with. I honestly think this is fine, and given how good everything else is, I'll give it a pass. So with that out of the way, let's just apply the tiniest bit of thermal paste possible back onto the CPU. You really don't need that much, and that looks terrific, mate, the perfect amount. Then with the pump head screwed back on, the Dominator Platinum's thrown back into sockets 2 and 4, and our glorious RTX 5090 returned back into the top PCIe slot, we can finally flip her around and enter through the back door to check out the power supply. Now props to Corsair for ventilating the entire back panel for maximum airflow, given that this is a fish tank design and has a lot of glass side panels. And once we remove it, props to them even more for the cable management in such a tiny case, mate. My god, how do these pre-built companies do this? It honestly looks like World War III when Hank is trying to cable manage on his builds. But anyway, moving on over to the PSU, and I am not gonna lie, mate, I was a bit worried when I saw the fan wasn't spinning on it. I thought it might have been broken, but apparently it's pretty normal on this bad boy right here, as it doesn't ramp its fans up until it's under considerable load, and Corsair has once again blessed us. We have received their RM1200X 80 plus gold tier A on the PSU tiers list, mate. This PC just keeps on giving. Now, if we look online, this power supply brand new costs 160 American fish sticks on Amazon, which is pretty reasonable value for a 1200 watt A tier PSU, so very happy days, mate. So I am just going to throw some benchmarks up here on the screen for those of you who are interested while I give my final verdict. But honestly, this is without a doubt the best value gaming PC we have ever purchased, hands down. Now, don't get me wrong, the price is astronomical. $4,600 is so expensive for a PC, but if you're a loser virgin like me and Hank and spend all your money on components, the fact that right now the GPU we received is going for close to the entire PC's asking price on eBay by itself is just insane. We were also blown away by the quality of the components along with how good the case looked aesthetically, so if you can get one of their PCs for the right price, it seems like a good buy. The only issue is if you do buy Corsair PCs brand new off their website, you're definitely paying a markup for their brand recognition, so have a sticky beak at their refurbished section like Hank did and see if you can beat the deal that we got. Me and the Glizzy love ya. Goodbye.